Welcome to the 2019 men's and women's cross country season in review. I'm being joined by head coach Russ De Lap. And coach, thanks for your time. And let's start with the men's side of things. And at least going into the season, what were your expectations?
Oh, man, expectations, the main one is that everybody gets on board with the culture of the team. As far as working hard, putting in the time into their training, and if everybody does that, then in the end, we're going to have the greatest amount of success that we possibly could. So really, that's the main thing, is getting everybody on board.
With that being said, how would you assess the way the season panned out?
I think the season went great. We're really a young team, lost a lot of seniors. So knowing that going into the season, you look at the overall depth and where everybody's at. At the end of the season, everybody ran great.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up where I thought we would be, in the middle of the pack.
And you mentioned a young team, and again, on paper, bulk of them were freshmen and sophomores. You had one senior, at least on the men's side. What do you teach the freshmen, sophomores? How do you help prepare them for making that step from maybe what they're used to at the high school level to now making that jump to the collegiate level competition?
Yeah, I think it comes down to educating them early on, developing a good relationship while they're in high school, and then communicating with them over the summer about the training and following up on the training, and then just supporting them, and giving them some sort of vision as to what it looks like when they get here, so they're prepared. And what I found out is if I do that, they come in, they're at their level of training that they need to be at, and even though it's hard, they're there. And then once they're there and they're in that team environment, they have a lot of support with their teammates and things of that nature, and they go through the season. And this year was really good. Everybody really, really worked hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but are there one or two runners that maybe stood out on the men's side that really made great stride from, say, the start to the way the cross-country season wrapped up?
Yeah, I would say there were quite a few.
Okay.
And a lot of the freshmen, Derek Folkman, improved a lot. But I think just a lot of the freshmen too, because I have a specific system of training that they're not used to in high school. And so it takes about a season for them to understand it. And in the end, all of them ran a season best or a personal record. So that's just an attribute to their hard work. And I think it's, I preach team, and I think it was really, really, everybody really shined at the end of the season.
So from a men's standpoint, the future's looking awfully bright. You like the progress that was made from these youngsters.
Yeah. I just need to recruit and bring in another freshman class, and in 2 or 3 years, I always try to give them a long-term vision of what it might look like, because it does take a year or two under my system, to improve their level of training. That's typically when they just start dropping a ton of time, is when they're juniors. And so if they can buy into that concept early on, I think we're going to have a really strong team.
Trying to make the transition now from men's to women's cross country, and an area that affected both is weather. And how big of a factor was weather? I know it comes with the territory, but it seemed like at least this year it was more of a story with the cold, the snow, and the stuff you dealt with toward the end.
Yeah.
Did it factor in?
The last two seasons, just the rain. The first meet, it's all wet and it's all muddy and it's kind of fun to go through. And the times are slow, but you gut it out and stuff.
But does that get old?
Oh man, it gets old. It gets old fast, because every meet that we went to until regionals was a mud fest. And it's just kids want to run fast. And regionals, it was cold. There was a little bit of wetness, but it was a pretty good track. And that's I think that's where everybody ran their season best or their personal record. So I was happy, that we could run on a course that was okay, not the greatest, but okay.
On the women's side, the NAC championships finished, in the top half, 5th out of 12. Did that season kind of pan out the way you expected as well, or did they exceed expectations? Maybe fell a little bit below.
I think they really exceeded expectations, because again, on the women's side too, we had a ton of freshmen.
Yep.
So you never know how they're going to respond. But they're, like on the men's side, they responded really, really well. And they showed up at conference. Both the men and women showed up and competed really, really well. Compared to where we were at the beginning of the season against the conference competition, they really moved up. So it was a good sign. And I think the women and men both came on at conference and regionals.
Like I asked you on the men's side, on the women's side, are there a couple athletes that maybe stood out that you were very encouraged by their progress?
Well, with a lot of freshmen, the progress oftentimes comes in chunks, and because they're running 5K in high school, they come up 6K, it's still 1,000 extra meters, so that I always say it takes a season, to learn how to race a new distance. So I think, Micah Hill, Mary Grace, Madison, they all ran really well, and they're coming in, and the training is at a much higher level, so they have a lot of trepidation, they have a lot of unknowns, and so it took a season, but it really gelled at the end of the season. And I think they understood all the concepts of training and things of that nature. They trained really hard, and in the end it showed.
All right, so Coach, we talk all about how young of a team this is, so many freshmen, but still, a number of juniors sprinkled into the experience factor, and Linnea Bartel, one of those juniors who really stood out.
She did, and this was a season that I've been waiting for 3 years. She's been injured previously, and she had just a fantastic summer of training. She came in, and man, she just improved a ton.
So the future's looking bright on both sides. Again, younger teams taking, great strides. I'm assuming the majority also partake in track and field. Maybe not. But what is the off-season like for these cross-country athletes? Or what do you hope that they do between now and come next fall?
Keep training. So, training is what you're used to. And so most of them are training at their maximum potential right now. Compared to high school, it's a big step up. Everybody's different. I always say everybody has a monster inside them. Some are bigger than others. So, now they're at this level, I got to, get them to here. And then every year, I got to see if I can bump up their training. Because that's what's going to get them faster. So I always look at it as a 4-year process. Some move up the ladder a little faster than others, and some are inhibited by, injury and things of that nature. So you got to take them a little slower. But the goal is really to progress their training over the course of 4 years. So they're doing track. After cross country, I got to give them a little recovery running, and then we bump it back up, and we get back into our normal training patterns, and we progress to try to get in really good shape at the end of February for indoor, and then a little recovery, and then bump it right back up, and then get ready for outdoor.
Well, Coach De Lap, we'll let you get back to training, but thanks a lot for your time as always, and best of luck with track and field. We'll do it again in cross country season.
Sounds good. Thank you.